So listen, I think we have a clip here that none of us saw coming from the incredible Eboni K. Williams, who for all intents and purposes, she's considered to be a feminist. Especially she champions black women being independent. So with her saying this and in this video, it's definitely catching a lot of people off guard, especially the fact that she is repeating a lot of the things that Kevin Samuels preached that he was vilified for. Now, just to give you a quick background on Eboni K. Williams, she's a talk show host for The Griot. She also co-hosts a show on Revolt called State of the Culture. She was also on Real Housewives of New York City as well. I think it was the 13th season. She was previously married in her 20s, I believe it was, to a white guy, and that was a failed marriage, and she hasn't since been married. I believe she's been engaged, and she's 40 years old. She has a past as an attorney, and here she is giving the ladies advice, especially college-age women. So without further ado, we're gonna jump into this clip. Let's go.
The reality that needs to be said out loud is that as black men age, their desirability increases. Thus, their optionality of women is always expanding. And the exact opposite is true for black women. As we age, doesn't matter how much money we accumulate, our degrees or professional accolades, the reality is that our marriage and partnership market value is depreciating with every passing year. No matter how good we look, no matter how fit we are, men are still seeing primarily our presumed dwindling fertility as a knock against us. And speaking of fertility, that is another reason that I want younger black women to seek marriage and partnership in college or right after, if that's what they choose. Because the number of college-educated black men is so low when compared to black college-educated women that we're all going to be targeting the same small pool of men. And as we heard today, on most campuses, there's like 7 black women students for every 1 black man student. Y'all do the math. So here's my advice. If you are a young black woman in college and you know in your heart and in your head that you want to prioritize family, I suggest that you simultaneously pursue that MRS degree right along with that BA or JD. Because the handful of black college-age men that actually do desire to get married soon, and they do share that value system, and family is a priority for them too, y'all, that is an incredibly small pool, and it's shrinking as you get older. And by the time you reach my age, 40, you will be faced with different choices relating to life partnership and motherhood. Now, I'm not saying that delaying marriage or motherhood is a bad option, but it's one that comes with its own consequences. And our women deserve to know on the front end of their decision making instead of on the back half.
Kudos, Eboni, kudos. I appreciate you saying this and speaking the truth for what it is. Now, the late, great Kevin Samuels talked about this a lot. And as I said previously, he was vilified for it. He was called a misogynist. He was called a chauvinist. He was called every name in the book because he was trying to tell women to leverage their beauty, leverage their years before they actually hit the wall. And it's just a thing. It's just a natural thing. Men are going to improve with value or their sexual market value. Or as Eboni K. Williams stated, the marriage and partnership market value for men goes up because they hit their financial stride, obviously, later in life. Men at college age, and I'm going to disagree with her with that, there is as she said, I will agree, there is a small percentage of men at college age who are ready to get married. But a lot of them really don't have their shit together at that age. So you're basically just struggling together, ladies. That's why Kevin always encouraged women to date up or age gap dating for men who are already solidified in life. They hit their financial stride. They've already lived that life, so they already know what is expected of them as a man and as a husband. Now, fertility was one of the things. It goes against nature. The older you get, the more likelihood you got a geriatric pregnancy. The likelihood of you being able to conceive goes down, as well as potential birth defects and health issues that'll come about, and the mortality rate if you are to give birth. So these are things that go along with that as well during childbearing age. So that prime time, as you said, I agree. Get your degree if you will, go after it, but definitely don't put your career first before life, especially if you want to do these things. You find a man that's able to take care of you. Now, a lot of women and a lot of fellas talk about this. A lot of women will put their career first, or they'll go to college just to get a degree and say, I'm smarter than a black man. A black man isn't as educated as me. All this tooting, all this stuff. I'm more educated, with a buttload of debt that goes along with that. And you want a man to absorb all of this all while you're on your high horse saying that you're better than him, right? White women typically go to college to network, to get a husband, to get in that position. Black women look at it as a way to champion themselves and feel like they're better than a black man. Basically turns a black man who's really interested in marriage off. That's why a lot of times you'll see successful black women who have a ton of college debt sometimes end up with a pookie. Because men who have their stuff together do have a trade, making some money. That college isn't the end all be all. There's a newsflash, ladies, just letting you know. And a lot of white women know this. So they typically go to college to network with some men, or to get into certain groups, get into certain spaces. And then they settle down with a man that may not necessarily all the time be college educated or have a college degree. It's not something that a man is typically looking for in a woman. He's looking for beauty. The whole thing that Kevin basically broke it down to a science. Fun, fit, cooperative, submissive, all these things that men are looking for in a woman. He's not looking for her to be, you need a PhD and all these things like that. And it wasn't that he was trying to be funny. It was just the nature of it. Now, Eboni, she's saying some things because maybe she is just now realizing at the age of 40 that her being an attorney isn't really a selling point for guys that's her age. It may be for younger guys and pookies, but that doesn't make you, especially when you have a mouth like that, you may end up being alone, tooting this education stuff. If you have a man that's tooting that, that's an issue too. You should let your character and who you are speak for itself. And this is just the fact of the matter. So hopefully with Eboni saying all these things, you guys are like, okay, because before she was saying some shit about be a single mom, go get a sperm donor. And all of a sudden she's backpedaling and switching up and talking about this stuff and admitting to it. Because whenever you tell a woman, and they don't like to hear this, their value goes down as they age, they think that their values go up, and it really doesn't, baby. Ladies, you must understand from a man's perspective, your value is in your beauty. Your value is in your beauty and how you can help and assist a man in this life, not just be a liability and a bill that he just has to take care of like a child. And that's what typically a lot of these women are. They have nothing really to offer other than their beauty. And once that fades, she talked about being in shape, regardless of how in shape. Women in their 40s and 50s are trying to compete with younger women by getting this plastic surgery, BBLs, risking their lives to try and be younger. When that time is over, the bus is already left, baby. The train is already ran. That stuff, you just have to give it up. Now, she said something else in reference to the small pool of men. College or not, women, black women typically date a small pool of men anyway. What is it, 20% of men are dealing with 80% of the women? That's just how it is. And women know this. Women typically go after the same guy, regardless if he's a dope boy, he's well educated, he is a professional, he's a pookie. Women typically deal with the same guys. And that's just how it is, no matter how many dudes there are out there. Just a fact of the matter, man. She's saying before she wouldn't date a bus driver, regardless if he's successful, he's got his stuff together, if he owns the bus. When Eboni, your mother was a bus driver, maybe that's just where she's at. I'm not saying you need to date a broke guy, but there are things that make a man at the end of the day. He should be able to take care of his family. That doesn't mean he has to take you to Dubai and the Maldives and all these other things. That's just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think though. Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit me up on Linktree to book a one-on-one with yours truly. Purchase all my books, merch, t-shirts. Helps to support the channel. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. With that being said, much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next video that's going to pop up on the screen below. That's where I'm going to see you guys at. It's your favorite everything. This is Wisdom. I'm out of here. Peace.
Yeah. 50 Cent. 50. Part 2.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Can't forget Tony.
50.
UK.